Two backs in the game yet again. A fake to A.J. Dillon. Rodgers with plenty of time. Now throws on the move to his safety blanket tight end, Robert Tonyan. Rodgers, quick strike. This time Lazard holds on for the first down. Out route, Lazard. Rodgers, inside throw to Aaron Jones. Spins his way in for the touchdown. Four-man rush. Heineke looking for McLaurin. He threw it behind him. It was nearly taken away by Jair Alexander. Another solid boot from Way to the 20. Rodgers muffed it. Washington may have it, and they do. It's recovered by Percy Butler, the rookie. A second consecutive week that Washington takes advantage of a muffed punt. So Joey Sly, who missed his first field goal of the season last week, will have a chip shot from 22 to get Washington on the board.
With that starting five.
Aaron Jones, high pass, caught on the leap. Got a long ground to cover, but he will not make it. Empty set for Heineke on third down. Four-man rush. Heineke hit as he throws. It is ripped away by Devondre Campbell. And he's got plenty of green grass in front of him. Devondre Campbell, pick six, Green Bay. 13-3 lead. First pick of the year, the sixth of Campbell's 7-year NFL career.
A little bit deeper on different levels.
Heineke has the release to Robinson. Moves around Walker and gets hit hard by Devontae Wyatt. On second down, they'll give it to Gibson. And a good edge run by Antonio Gibson. Nearly broke free, caught up to by Adrian Amos near midfield. Heineke to throw on third and short. Sidearm sling to Terry McLaurin for a first down. Here's Robinson again. The blocking from Samuel. Another good run by Brian Robinson. Heineke to the end zone. He's got a man in Gibson. He's in for the touchdown. Tight roping that end zone. It's from the 25, and it's a give to Jones. Somehow stays on his feet. Still backing. Now falls down and ends up losing 6 yards. Screen pass. It's dropped by Jones. It's an incomplete forward pass, and that'll bring up fourth down. Another third down for Heineke, and it's broken up. Rasul Douglas stepped in front of Curtis Samuel, and Douglas continues an excellent first half. So Sly from 47. Off the upright. Just a four-man rush. Rodgers, low throw, incomplete. Was trying to put it in the perfect spot for Dobbs, and Benjamin St-Juste with another good defensive play for Washington to force the punt. Washington now out of timeouts, 1:02 to play in the half. Heineke swings it out. Samuel gets spun down in space by Campbell. Another penalty marker is thrown, and then a second one comes in. Pam Beer 6 penalties for 44 yards. One of those negated a defensive touchdown. Heineke under pressure from Quay Walker and still delivers on point to Dax Milne. From the 35, this is some of the types of gives that they love to use with Samuel. Little misdirection, little trap plays, little end arounds. Heineke sets up, looking for Terry McLaurin against Alexander. It is caught! Touchdown! Commanders take the lead. Packers bring some pressure. Heineke calmly delivers it. It's a completion and a stumbling first down for Armani Rogers.
They need to simplify as individuals for the group to come together.
Here's Lazard, top target, has the first down. Cam Curl on the stop. Washington rushes just 4. Rogers throws, and it's scooped off the deck by Romeo Doubs, the rookie. Just snatched it. If he doesn't grab that off the deck,
it's an incomplete pass.
he did not grab it off the deck, apparently. They'll slot him out wide. They've got McLaurin coming out of Packers with 8 back in coverage, and Samuel leaps for the catch and first down just inside the 50. Robinson. It's Samuel doing some blocking along the edge. Heineke rolling, throwing, Gibson, catch, and another good gain. It's been mostly runs. This will be a pass under pressure, and somehow it finds Terry McLaurin. Alexander did a good job of sticking with him and dragging him down. Packers bring heat. Heineke off the back foot. Incomplete. Oof, close. But he bangs it through. 7. We've seen this play multiple times. It's Aaron Jones getting a lot of that yardage back and then some. No blitz. And Rodgers this time connects with Rogers, but it might be short by about a yard plus. Quick throw towards the sticks. That ball pops out loose. It's incomplete. A turnover on downs.
And a great changeup on that is stutter the guy you're going to block and then go deep, but it didn't look like that changeup.
So now Heineke under pressure and gets ripped down. That's back-to-back weeks that Kingsley Enagbare gets to the quarterback, his second career sack. On 3rd and 8, Heineke gets rid of it. Curtis Samuel makes a move for the first down and more. He got past Rasul Douglas, and then Eric Stokes shoved him, and then a late penalty marker is thrown. Fake to Gibson. Heineke slings it outside. It is Samuel spinning his way to stay in bounds. Heineke rolling, stopping, slings it away, and he will happily take a field goal attempt. From 19, Sly bangs it right through, and that is now 20 unanswered points for the Commanders. Play clock winding down. They'll give him the snap. To the outside for Amari Rogers, trying to break free, and a good effort to get the first down. So that's 3 first downs via penalty on this drive for Green Bay, which needs to make up 2 scores. Nothing open for Rogers. Rolling, throwing, end zone. What a catch! Did he haul it in? What a play by Aaron Jones! Rising over Curl for a crucial score for Green Bay. Another catch for a score.
And this is another ad-lib right there. You can see Cam Curl jumps the out, and that allows Aaron Jones to get behind him. And a great throw on the move by Aaron Rodgers.
Almost 19 minutes of clock on these last 3 drives. Under pressure, Heineke finds his top target. Again, Terry McLaurin stays in bounds somehow, and it's a first down to keep the clock moving. If they get a first down, the game's essentially over. Green Bay's now out of timeouts. Play of the game right now. Heineke hit as he throws, launches, it is caught! Terry McLaurin holds on!
But I would not have seen it from all 4 of those teams.
First down ends the game. It is Robinson working his way close to the stick, still a few yards shy. This is still the game right here. 3rd down and 3. Robinson can't get there. Rodgers Steps up, throws it. Oh, what a catch by Sammy Watkins. He slides down. They're going to have to run up and spike the football. And then one more play to get into field goal range. Tonyan. Robert Tonyan flings it to Rodgers. Tonyan. Robert Tonyan flings it to Rodgers. Rodgers needs to get rid of it. That bounces, and it's picked up by a lineman in Zach Tom. Here's Toure. Samori Toure finds Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers to the 20. A flag is thrown out of bounds, and that's your ball game. There is a flag.